So my first two-parter, I'm going to tell you... No, I don't... No, it's wrong.
Hey guys, welcome back to All Marbles Lost, a true crime conspiracy theory podcast where we tell you why we're losing our shit. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh, also I'm JT, by the way.
I'm Carrie. That's what I was waiting for, was introductions. I was like, you gonna say names?
Listen, we haven't done this in so long.
You've also never done the intro.
Also that.
But I'm pretty good, I guess. How are you?
I'm good. I feel like we have a lot to talk about.
I know, I was just thinking about how long this episode's gonna be.
So, it's been 2 weeks since we've put out an episode. And the first episode that we missed was... I kind of posted a vague thing about it on Instagram. The reason that we missed it was because, first off, Carrie's wisdom teeth came in, and they have been ruining her life.
It's awful. If I sound differently, it's because I am not opening my mouth all the way when I talk. So I'm making the best of it.
And the second reason was because we're pretty sure that there was a ghost in our studio.
I'm 100% convinced. I'm not pretty sure.
Whether that ghost is still here, we're not sure. But Echo, our dog, definitely scared the shit out of us. And that was kind of our final straw of like, okay, Carrie's teeth hurt. The dog scared the shit out of us. We're done.
Yeah, Echo was sitting in JT's lap looking at me and looked over my shoulder. And I watched his expression change. And then he just started crying. And I was like, I'm not going to be in this room anymore.
So we went in the living room and we lit incense and we ended up sleeping on the couch because that was our safe space.
And also JT just felt the need not to tell me that our skeleton decoration keeps falling off of its perch. And he was just putting it back up there and not telling me.
Yeah, I just didn't want to scare you. Also, I honestly didn't think much of it.
It's the devil, buddy. The decoration is the devil.
Listen, I didn't think much of it until it fell when literally no one was around it and no one was moving and the dogs cried when it happened. So that was like the final straw for me.
Yeah. My new motto has been I can deal with one thing or the other. My teeth or whatever's happening in my daily life. I can only do one or the other. I cannot do both.
So essentially you're doing nothing and just dealing with your teeth.
I mean... Sometimes I change them out and I just don't deal with my teeth and they just run rampant. I did get my surgery scheduled though, but I have to wait another 39 days before I can get them taken out of my face.
Well, I think you need to explain the severity of what's going on.
Since I am 22, the dentist was already worried because they took a long time to drop into place. Well, since they took so long, they started deteriorating in my gums. So they're causing a lot of damage, and they're also all four impacted and breaking into pieces in my gums. But he said he literally cannot get me in any earlier than November.
So we hate everything.
I'm living on ibuprofen and Orajel. But other than our lives, the world has also gone a little crazy in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't think we've had an episode since the stuff with Gabby started, have we?
We haven't. So I'm sure a lot of you have already heard about the case. But if you haven't, I'm going to try to keep all the speculation out of it and only give you facts of what I have seen. Just not to sway anyone's opinion. I'm also not going to state my opinion, but I lean with the vast majority, if that tells you anything.
Sounds good.
So, Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie started a cross-country trip together in early July. They were dating. They were engaged, I believe. When they left, they were engaged. And that was July 2nd that they left. Gabby was 22 and Brian is 23. And I have a timeline of their road trip. So they left Blue Point, New York, July 2nd. And July 5th, Gabby posted that they were at the Rocks Natural Landmark in Kansas. And then July 8th, they moved to Colorado Springs. The 16th through the 22nd of July, they were in Utah's National Park. Zion National Park, I apologize. July 26th, they were at Mystic Hot Springs, still in Utah. And then we have a break until August 12th. And there was an incident with Brian and Gabby on August 12th where the police were called, not by either of them, but by somebody else, that Brian had been hitting Gabby. That was what the caller said when they called 911. But no charges were filed, and it somehow got settled back down. They both said they were in love. There is body cam footage out there. I haven't watched it because I've seen still shots of it, and I know it will make me cry, so I haven't watched it myself. But it's out there. You can YouTube it, Facebook it, find it on Twitter. Anywhere you want to find it, it's there, I promise.
Just seeing, like, the screenshots from it is... like,
it's enough for me. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's, like, the most ominous thing.
Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable to just see it.
Yeah.
And then the next stop on the timeline is August 24th. They checked out of their hotel in Salt Lake City. August 25th, Gabby was talking to her family and said she was in Wyoming Grand Teton National Park. August 30th, Gabby's family received a text message from her phone saying they had no service and they were in Yellowstone. And then September 1st, Brian returned to his parents' home alone in Gabby's van. And that is the timeline of their trip. And obviously so much more has come out since then.
Yeah.
Gabby has been found deceased. The cause of death has been ruled a homicide. And Brian is now missing. I say missing, but Brian is in hiding. Because nothing has been proved. Everything is alleged, but it looks really sketchy.
And Dog is on the case.
Dog is on the case. The bounty on his head is now up to $180,000.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, Dog put $10,000 on it. So Upchurch has a $50,000 reward on information leading to his arrest. Buhoff Law Firm in Florida has $20,000. Gabby's parents have donated $20,000. Gabby's neighbor has donated $5,000. MJ Morning Show has donated $25,000. Sean Whalen has donated $50,000, and Dwayne Chapman, Dog the Bounty Hunter, has donated $10,000. So we're up to $180,000 reward for Brian Laundrie.
Oh, and I'm sure the longer he's missing, the higher it'll get.
Absolutely. So I have a news article from CNN that I'm going to read you like pieces of just to give you more information about the case. So their original plan was to take Gabby's white Ford van to the West Coast and visit state and national parks all along the western United States. And Gabby wanted to be an influencer. So she was keeping track of their travels and was posting about it on Instagram and YouTube. But that communication stopped at the end of August.
Okay, thinking about it now, because I always forget that piece that she wanted to be an influencer.
Mm-hmm.
If he did kill her, what makes him think that he could get away with it? If like that's the case, that she has a huge following, and like, wouldn't he think like, oh, it'll be really suspicious if she goes missing?
But why doesn't every murderer think that? You know what I mean?
I guess.
Like, because someone is always going to be missing someone.
Yeah.
Like, everyone came from somewhere.
Yeah. Everybody has people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I forgot, like, the biggest piece of information about the case. So Brian returned to his parents on September 1st, alone, in Gabby's van. Neither Brian or Brian's parents reported Gabby missing. Gabby wasn't reported missing until September 11th. And that was because her parents hadn't heard from her. And when her parents reached out to the Laundrie family, her parents were ignored.
Which is, like, so suspicious.
Yeah. So after Gabby was reported missing, Northport authorities went to the Laundrie's home to try to speak with him or his family. And this is a quote directly from the CNN article. But we were essentially handed the information for their attorneys. that is the extent of our conversation with them.
And that's even more suspicious. Like, because that was just them essentially saying, like, we don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. And they still haven't spoken to anybody. And then on September 17th, the Laundrie family requested that the police come to their home. And everyone was hoping that they would finally open up and talk about what was going on.
Yeah.
Instead, they revealed that they haven't seen their son since September 14th, 3 days earlier.
Which we now know probably isn't the case, right?
Probably. It seems very suspicious, all the things that have come to light.
Yeah. Like,
that he just up and left and they let him walk away without knowing where he was going.
Yeah.
Again, all of this is alleged. I can't promise you what is fact and what is not fact because every time you turn around, there's something new.
Yeah.
So it was September 19th that they found human remains that were consistent with the description of Gabby. And then September 20th, the FBI issued a search warrant for the Laundrie home. And they went in and, they searched and got whatever they needed. And they're still also searching for Brian at this time because the search for Brian started on the 17th. And it is, as I'm recording, October 2nd. And they still have not found him.
It's crazy that it's been that long. It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
I know. Because you have to think they started their journey at July 2nd.
Yeah. I was also thinking about that, like, as you were talking. I didn't realize how long their trip was.
Yeah. I don't know how long their trip was originally going to be. Because obviously it got cut short.
Probably fairly long.
It was probably going to be the whole summer.
Yeah.
So September 21st, they confirmed that the remains were indeed Gabby. And they still have not released the cause of death. They have just said it has been ruled a homicide. And that is really all we know about Gabby's part of the case because now everything has shifted to finding Brian.
Yeah. But I'm sure we'll know more once everything kind of gets wrapped up.
Yeah. So I will keep you guys updated on whatever we can find. I will give you guys a description of Brian. Brian Christopher Laundrie has been missing since September 21st of 2021. He is 23 years old. He is a white male with brown, short hair, brown eyes. He is 5'8". He weighs about 160 pounds. He is bald, but he does have trimmed facial hair, and he was last seen in Northport, Florida. And there have been supposed sightings of Brian everywhere. I think they're currently searching in the Florida Keys, but I read this morning that there had been sights of him in Tennessee, and there's been sights of him in North Carolina, and everywhere. Brian's everywhere.
I feel like at this point, people are, well, some people at least, are just saying that they see him just to, like, get publicity.
I mean, that is obviously part of it, but another part of it is he looks like any other guy.
He's just very generic looking.
Yeah. I work with 15 people that look like Brian.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone is looking so hard for him that anyone could become him very easily.
I mean, there's that dude on TikTok.
Yes.
Not Brian Laundrie.
Not Brian Laundrie.
He does look a lot like him, though, to be fair.
He does, yes.
Could you imagine if secretly it was him the whole time and he's just been making TikToks saying that it's not him?
It's definitely not him.
I know, because he's made a video of, like, why he's not Brian Laundrie,
Yes.
But still, that would be so crazy.
So, in other news, coming back from a 2-week hiatus, I have my first 2-parter for you guys.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, so I'm going to do the first part of the Zodiac Killer today.
I've heard a lot about the Zodiac Killer, but I feel like I don't remember a lot, so I'm ready to be retaught things.
So today I'm going to apparently do nothing.
I think it's funny that you were, like, ready to solve the Zodiac Code, like, when you were doing this.
I will get back to that.
Okay.
So for part 1 of Zodiac Killer, I'm mostly going to tell you about his confirmed murders. So I'm going to give you all the heavy shit in part 1.
Okay.
All murders, all the time. And then in part 2, I will tell you more about his ciphers and his letters and the current status of the investigation. And in part 2, we will talk suspects.
All right. Sounds good. I'm very, very interested in the ciphers.
A lot of that will be part 2. I'm going to read you the solved ones in part 1, but a lot of the ciphers is going to be next week.
Okay. Then I will just be in anticipation and excitement.
That's what I like to hear. So the Zodiac Killer has a couple different names. Some people just say Zodiac, the Zodiac, Zodiac Killer. Everyone calls him a little something different. But it's a pseudonym of the serial killer who was active in Northern Cali in the late 1960s. He has 5 confirmed victims that are attributed to him, and they range from December of 1968 to October of 1969.
Why did I think that there was a lot more?
I don't know.
For some reason, I thought that the Zodiac was, like, I don't know, just like a bigger killer.
Oh, it's just because everyone was so terrified. That's why it was so big.
Oh.
It wasn't the amount of people he killed. It's that all of it was just sensationalized.
Yeah, I really thought that, like, the Zodiac killed, like, 20 plus people. Shows how much I remember from the podcast I've listened to, but okay, continue.
And it's funny that you say that because my next paragraph says, he was well known for his series of taunting letters and cards he mailed to regional newspapers.
Well, that's probably what he was more known for, was, like, the crypticness.
Yes, because a lot of these letters threatened killing sprees and bombings, and basically if he didn't get his way, he was going to kill everyone.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get down and dirty with the murders.
All right.
The first pair of murders was David Arthur Faraday. He was 17, and Betty Lou Jensen. She was 16. So I'm taking you to December 20th of 1968. The couple was on their first date, and they planned on attending a Christmas concert at Hogan High School, which is where they both attended high school. Instead, they went to visit a friend, they stopped at a local restaurant, and then they drove out to Lake Herman Road, which is just inside Benicia city limits. I don't know that I'm saying that right.
Is this like a Lover's Lane situation?
That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
I just haven't read that yet because I don't know how to pronounce this city.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting ahead of you.
Quit reading my notes.
Listen, you do it to me, so.
At 10:15, David parked his mom's Rambler on the gravel turnout, a well-known Lover's Lane.
There we go, I guessed it.
Shortly after 11, their bodies were found by Stella Borges. I think that's right. Borges. And she lived nearby.
Okay.
I just got a notification that my math teacher from high school made a Snapchat, so that's why I made that face. That's why I made that face.
Like, he made a Snapchat or he added you on Snapchat?
She made a Snapchat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it just like I was trying to read my notes and it like popped up over the line. It was like, blank has made a Snapchat. Add them now. Solano County sheriffs investigated the murder, but there was no leads that ever panned out. Robert Graysmith, an American true crime author and former cartoonist, well known for his work on the Zodiac Killer case.
That's so random.
I was giving you background on who he was because he has thoughts about the case.
No, I just like love that he was like a cartoonist and now a true crime expert. Like that's how I'm trying to be.
A true crime author.
Oh, well, that's how I'm trying to be.
All authors are just experts to you?
No, I meant I'm trying to be a cartoonist turned true crime author.
You better start drawing cartoons, buddy.
Listen, I draw, I dabble.
But Robert thinks another car pulled into the turnout just before 11 and parked beside them. Then exited his car and walked towards the Rambler, maybe ordering the couple out of the car. And he thinks that Betty Lou got out of the car first because when David was halfway out of the driver's seat, he was shot in the head. And then Betty Lou was shot 5 times in the back as she ran away.
Oh, damn.
They found her body 28 feet from the car, so she really didn't get far.
Damn.
And then he just assumes the killer got back in his car and left.
That's insane.
My thoughts on this were, Stella found the bodies because she lived nearby, but how did she not hear the gunshots?
Yeah, like how would she have not gone out there sooner?
Mm-hmm. And what was she doing out there?
I don't know. I mean, then again, you don't know what was, like, around there.
Right. I also feel like normal people just, like, leave their house sometimes, but I'm not one of those people.
Yeah, we don't leave our houses. Houses.
Oh, we have multiple?
I wish. Actually, no, I don't really know what people have use for multiple houses.
We don't clean the one we have. We don't need to. So then we move on to pair 2 that was attacked. Michael Renault Maggio, Mageau, was 19, and Darlene Elizabeth Farron, 22. And they were attacked on July 4th of 1969. So we have a pretty good gap here. We went from December all the way to July.
Yeah, that is a pretty big gap.
And as you know, with serial killers, that gap is going to get shorter and shorter.
Yep.
So that's why I'm just taking note now. Just before midnight on July 4th, Darlene and Michael drove into the Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo. Vallejo.
Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it.
And that was 4 miles from Lake Herman Road. So that's where the previous couple was murdered.
So pretty close range.
Yeah, very close to where they were, but obviously like 7 months later.
Yeah.
And the couple parked there, and they were sitting in Darlene's car. And a second car drove into the lot and parked alongside them, but almost immediately the car drove away. Like they pulled up and parked, and then they just left. And then the car returned 10 minutes later. But this time the car parked behind them. And the driver of the second car got out of the vehicle and was walking up to the passenger side of Darlene's car. The person was carrying a flashlight and a 9mm Luger handgun. The killer directed the flashlight into Michael's and Darlene's eyes before shooting at them. He fired the gun 5 times, and both victims were hit. Several bullets passed through Michael and hit Darlene.
Oh, wow.
And then the killer walked away from the car, but he heard Michael moaning. He returned and shot each victim 2 more times and then left.
So is there anything to be said about the killer, like, coming and then leaving and then coming back? Like, do you think that was them, like, debating on whether they were going to do it or not?
No, I personally think it was the killer seeing who was in the car.
Like, just scoping it out?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it seems like at this point he's targeting
young couples.
So
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to make sure it was a couple,
right.
Probably.
That's what I think it is, but there's not really anything, like, to say either way.
Okay.
But that means that the killer fired the gun into the car 9 times. And Michael got shot more than Darlene because the bullets went through him and into her.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. So July 5th, 1969 at 12:40 a.m., literally tops an hour later, a man called the Vallejo Police Department to report and claim responsibility for the attack. The caller also took credit for the murders of Betty Lou and David 6.5 months earlier. The police traced the phone call to a phone booth at a gas station at Springs Road and Tuolumne, Tuolumne.
Yeah, I would say that's how you say that.
Which was 0.3 of a mile away from Darlene's home. And it was only a couple blocks from the police department.
I don't want to, like, get ahead of you because you might be talking about this, but wasn't there something about his voice? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
I think you're thinking of somebody else. I know who you're thinking of, and I will cover them for you as well.
Is it like, am I thinking of, what are they called? Like the Weepy Voice Killer or something?
That's exactly who you're thinking of.
Yeah. Okay. Continue. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Darlene was pronounced dead at the hospital, but Michael survived the attack despite being shot in the face, the neck, and the chest.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to survive if that happened to me. Like,
again, we are not survivors.
Yeah, like getting shot in the face.
Yeah, getting shot.
Yeah, no.
I'm not interested. He was able to describe his attacker as a 26 to 30-year-old man, 195 to 200 pounds, maybe even a little more. He said he wasn't sure. He was about 5'8" with short, light brown curly hair.
That's a pretty good description for him shining a flashlight in your eyes and then shooting you.
In the face?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have seen anything. That's just me. I genuinely don't think I would have seen a thing.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have. I mean, this is kind of off topic, but kind of not off topic. It makes me think about, my mom said that one time when she was in school, they did a thing, and it was supposed to be about how observant people are.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like in the middle of class, they had somebody like run in and steal something like from the teacher and then like run out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had to describe the person.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to see like how different everybody's description was because everybody saw something different because it happened so fast.
Right.
Like, and that's like you're looking straight at somebody.
Right.
I couldn't imagine this situation.
Yeah. Not for me. Because, I mean, it's just like how people say eyewitness accounts, you can't trust them.
Yeah.
Because you can't. Because your brain automatically is going to fill in the gaps.
And then make you think you saw something that you didn't.
Right. And your brain's not going to be like, oh, well, I was wrong. Like.
Yeah. You're going to want to believe yourself.
Right. Like, you trust your own eyes. So, August 1st of 1969. So, just less than a month. 3 letters prepared by the killer were received at Vallejo Times. Is it Herald? Is that how you say that?
Yeah.
Okay. The San Francisco Chronicle and the San Francisco Inquirer. I know I'm going to say San Francisco wrong a billion times.
San Francisco.
Exactly. Exactly. God, these teeth need ripped out of my head. I can't handle it.
It's okay. Listen, once it gets to be, like, into October and you can't talk anymore, I'll just read you scary stories, and that can be our podcast. It'll just turn into a Scary Stories podcast. We can have Kendall on. It'll be great.
So these 3 letters were all nearly identical. And here is letter 1. And I'm reading it directly from his handwriting. Like, I have a photo of it.
Oh, Lord.
So bear with me. Dear editor, this is the murderer of the 2 teenagers last Christmas at Lake Herman and the girl on the 4th of July near the golf course in Vallejo. To prove I killed them, I shall state some facts which only I and the police know. Christmas. 1. Brand name of ammo, Super X. 2. 10 shots were fired. 3. The boy was on his back with his feet to the car. 4. The girl was on her right side, feet to the west.
That's so specific.
Something only the killer would know.
I know, but is he, like, taking notes after he did it? He's like, okay, this will be useful information
Well,
later.
listen, if you shot somebody, you're probably not going to forget it.
I'm thinking directionally, though, because, like, I couldn't tell you where east, west, north, and south are.
Well, I bet you could have in 68.
Yeah, that's true. People knew a lot more things back then.
My shower thought pertains to that today, actually.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And now he moves on to the 4th of July killings. 1. Girl was wearing patterned slacks. 2. The boy was also shot in the knee. 3. Brand name ammo was... And then the photo cuts off, so I can't see the rest of it. But I imagine it was just the brand name of the ammo.
Yeah.
And then the second letter I have, his handwriting got even worse. So I'm going to try to read this one too.
Okay.
It says almost the same thing. It says, I'm the killer of the 2... Oh, he fucking split teenagers into 2 words. He spells every other word wrong.
Why are serial killers always so illiterate?
I'm not really sure.
Go to school so you don't murder people. Is that what we've learned today?
Okay, so the second letter says, I am the killer of the 2 teenagers last Christmas at Lake Herman and the girl last 4th of July. To prove this, I shall state some facts which only I and the police know. Christmas. Brand name of ammo, Super X. 10 shots fired. Boy was on back, feet to car. Girl was lying on right side, feet to west. 4th of July. 1 girl was wearing patterned pants. Boy was also shot in the knee. Brand name of ammo, something Western. I just can't read his handwriting.
Okay.
And the bottom of this letter says, there's like a line drawn under that, and it says, here is a cipher that is, wow, I really am struggling. No, literally look at what I'm trying to figure out. Like this bottom section right here. Like this is, I genuinely couldn't tell you what the hell this says.
It looks like just a bunch of squiggles.
Yes. Because it says, here is a cipher. I wonder if I put it in my notes what the fuck it says. No, I only put what the cipher means. I'm such a dumb bitch.
You're not a dumb bitch.
I'm just going to read you what I can of this, I guess. It says, here is a cipher that is part... I really don't know what that says. The other two parts have been... I don't know what word he says, but he's trying to say they were sent to the San Francisco Examiner and the San Francisco Chronicle. I want you to probably publish. I can only see P.
Probably.
So basically he sent that letter and then sent them a cipher and said, put it in the fucking paper. Is pretty much what he said.
Paraphrasing, but...
Yes, paraphrasing.
It
he
works.
said, put it in the fucking paper. He was described by a psychiatrist to have... The letters were, like, looked over by a psychiatrist and were described to be written by someone who you would expect to be brooding and isolated.
That's a lot to get from that.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, am I brooding and isolated? Like, because I kind of write like that. Like, you can't read it. None of it makes any sense.
Oh, I was going to say all they should have gotten out of that was that he was illiterate. Like,
and a killer.
Yeah.
The letters took credit for the attacks at Lake Herman and Blue Rock Springs, obviously. Each letter also included 1/3 of a 408 symbol cryptogram, which the killer claimed contained his identity. The killer demanded they be printed on each paper's front page, or he would cruise around all weekend, killing lone people in the night, and then move on to kill again until I end up with a dozen people over the weekend.
So they did end up publishing it, right?
Yes.
Isn't it weird how killers just, like, hold so much power, low-key?
Yeah.
That they can just be like, put this in the fucking paper, and then it just happens?
But that's only if they can't figure out who you are. Like, you have to be, like, pretty smart to be able to hide, but still communicate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think it could be done now.
No, probably not.
I mean, look at Brian. If Brian sent one message anywhere, they'd be on his ass.
The whole thing about Brian is so insane because it's like, he probably never imagined that it would blow up this much. And now you have the entire United States looking for you.
Yeah.
Like, literally the story has blown up on every social media platform to the point that he cannot do anything.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
Social media is a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Like, if social media existed in, like, the 70s and 80s, guarantee that, like, all of the big serial killers wouldn't have been a thing.
Yeah, there's no way. And especially, like, in the 70s, because hitchhiking was such a thing.
Yeah.
If social media was around, it wouldn't have been so prominent, like hitchhiking.
Yeah, that's so true. We could probably have a whole discussion just about that, like, social media and murderers.
Even if just cell phones were more popular.
Yeah, because, I mean, when were cell phones invented? Like, the 90s?
Or
was it earlier than that?
It was earlier than that. That's when they became, like, more popular.
Yeah.
Now I have to look up when the fucking cell phone was invented.
Sorry.
April 3rd, 1973.
What?
Motorola.
It was probably, like, the size of a brick, though.
Oh,
right?
yeah, I'm looking at a photo.
Was that, like, actual cell phones, or was that, like, where they had phones in cars?
Cell phone.
Oh, wow. I'm so surprised by that.
Yeah, Martin Cooper.
My parents are probably, like, reaching through their speaker trying to punch me in the face because they're, like, probably like, you should know that. Because I'm sure we've had that discussion with them, like, 1,000 times. Because we tend to talk about shit like that.
We talked about old phones, but we didn't talk about when they were, like, actually invented.
Oh, then maybe I'm safe.
Okay. Back to Zodiac.
Okay, sorry.
The quote I just read you, the cruise around all weekend killing lone people, that was directly from him. That was a direct quote from him.
Okay.
So the Chronicle, the San Francisco Chronicle, published its third of the cryptogram on page 4 on the next day's edition of the paper. An article printed alongside the code quoted Vallejo Police Chief Jack E. Stilts saying, "We are not satisfied that the letter was written by the murderer," and requested the writer to send a second letter with more facts to prove his identity. The threatened murders did not happen, and all 3 parts were eventually published in the paper. So this was the first week of August.
So they were just like, we don't believe you. We need more proof.
Well, no. They believed him. They wanted more proof to try to figure out so they could use that to piece together who he was.
Oh, I got you. They just wanted more information.
Yes.
I got you.
So August 7th, of 1969, so a couple days later. Another letter was received at the San Francisco Examiner with the salutation, "Dear Editor, this is the Zodiac speaking." And this was the first time that he used this name for identification. And the letter was a response to Chief Stilt's request for more details that would prove he had killed David. I typed my notes, right? And I was typing their names, and I typed David, and then I used last names for the rest of them. To prove he had killed David, Betty Lou, and Darlene. In this letter, the Zodiac included details about the murders that had not yet been released to the public, as well as a message to the police that when they crack his code, they will have him. That was a direct quote from him. Once they crack his code, they will have me.
And this is a reference to the code that hasn't been solved yet, right?
Yes.
That's insane. That it's still not solved.
Well, actually, I'm wrong on that one. So, he was talking about the 408 symbol cryptograph. That has been solved, and that doesn't say who he is. Who he is. I cannot speak. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. The one that hasn't been solved is only like 18 symbols, right?
I believe it's 13.
Okay.
It's in here. We'll get
I
there.
just knew that it was like a fairly small...
Yeah, because it literally, the letter says, "My name is," and then it has 13 symbols.
Yeah.
So on August 8th of 1969, so the next day after this second letter was sent, Donald and Betty Harden of Salinas, California, cracked the 408 symbol cryptograph. It contained a misspelled message in which the killer seemed to reference The Most Dangerous Game, which is a book. It's also a film, but he was referencing the book.
Okay.
The author said that he had been collecting slaves for his afterlife. The killer said this. No name. Oh, sorry.
At first I thought you meant the author of the book, and
No.
I was like, what?
No, that's why I was like, the killer said that. Like, I had to slide that in there.
Okay. Also, sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. No name appears in the decoded text, and the killer said that he would not give away his identity because it would slow down or stop his slave collection.
Well, yeah, I would imagine.
And now I'll read you the actual cipher that is decoded.
Okay.
I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all. To kill something gives me the most thrilling experience. It is even better than getting your rocks off with a girl. The best part of it is that when I die, I will be reborn in paradise, and all that I have killed will become my slaves. I will not give you my name because you will try to slow down or stop my collection of slaves for the afterlife. A lot of words in that are misspelled, and there is also a section of letters at the end that they don't know what they mean. So I pulled that translation directly from Wikipedia, and underneath it said, "This is the solution to the 408 symbol cipher solved August 1969, including faithful transliterations of spelling and grammar errors in the original. The meaning, if any, of the final 18 letters has not been determined."
So is that maybe where I got the 18 letters
Possibly. I'm going to show you. This is the cipher, and this is how they solved it.
That's so interesting.
Yes.
It's interesting to me that somebody who can barely spell can create something like that.
I feel like that partially makes it even harder to solve.
Yeah. Because you would almost have to find the pattern of how he misspells things.
Yes.
And analyze that, and then analyze, like, the rest of the cipher.
Yeah.
It's like an added layer to it.
And also, it's not... Every letter doesn't correlate to a single symbol.
What do you mean?
Like, the letter A, there are multiple symbols for the letter A.
That's so weird.
Yeah. I'm now going to take you to September 27th of 1969. I know I had a lisp when I said that.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Okay, well, I did. These teeth are really taking me out. So this is the next couple that is attacked. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard. Brian was 20 and Cecilia was 22. They were students of Pacific Union College, which was a private liberal arts college in Napa Valley, California. They were having a picnic at Lake Berryessa on a small island connected by a sand spit to two... I'm gonna fucking...
That was like some Porky Pig energy. You said toot toot toot.
I can't.
Oh, this is the funniest. This is like comedy gold. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened. I'm so glad we're recording.
I'm gonna fucking end it, bro. I can't do it. Okay, are we ready?
I think so.
Can you hear me good?
Yes.
So the couple was picnic.
What happened?
My notes say panicking. The couple was picnicking at Lake Berryessa on a small island connected by a sand spit to Twin Oak Ridge. A man who was described as 5'11", weighing more than 170 pounds, approached them wearing a black executioner-type hood with clip-on sunglasses over the eye holes. First of all, I ever saw someone walking towards me like that, and it would be on sight. Like,
what does clip-on sunglasses mean?
I don't really know.
That's like kind of funny to me. Like, it sounds like almost comical.
Oh, clip-on sunglasses are the ones that you're supposed to be able to clip to the bridge of your actual glasses.
Oh.
He just had them clipped to his hood. But he also had what was described as a bib-like device on his chest with a white 3x3 cross circle symbol on it. So do you know the Zodiac symbol?
Oh, yeah.
It looks like a target.
Crosshairs.
Yeah, it looks like crosshairs.
Yeah.
He had that painted, like,
on his chest.
3 inches by 3 inches, yeah, on his chest.
Okay.
And he approached with a gun drawn. Brian said he thought it was a .45. The man told the couple that he was an escaped convict who had broken out of jail in Deer Lodge, Montana, and he had killed a guard. He told them that he needed their car and their money because he was on the run, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And he told them the car he was driving was too hot, meaning the cops knew what it was.
Oh, okay.
The man had brought pre-cut lengths of plastic clothesline. He told Cecilia to tie Brian up before the man tied her up, but the killer checked Brian's bonds before and had to retie them because Cecilia did not tie them tight enough.
Which is fair. Why would you?
Exactly. Brian thought it was just going to be some, like, bizarre robbery, like, kind of thought this dude might just be a little out there. But the man tied them up, and then he drew a knife. And he started stabbing them both repeatedly.
After he had a gun?
Yes.
Okay.
Just
observation?
Yeah, I don't really know. Brian suffered six sixes. Brian suffered 6 stab wounds, and Cecilia suffered 10. You know how fucking hard it is to fucking talk with impacted teeth? Stop laughing at me.
Dude, it's like you're doing tongue twisters over there.
Cecilia suffered 10 stab wounds. The killer then hiked 500 yards back to the road, and he drew his symbol, the cross and circle symbol, on Brian's car door in black felt tip pen. Is that just like Sharpie?
I thought felt tip pens were like fairly small. Like smaller than Sharpies.
They might be. I don't know. It could have been very small. Like, it could have been a very thin.
Because felt tip pens are the ones that are like metal coming out and then it's like a really small rounded tip. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, okay, yeah. That gives me Sharpie vibes.
Oh, okay. It's like a fine tip Sharpie.
I just, like, when I first read it, I thought of, like, someone trying to use, like, a pen to draw on a car door.
Oh, like a ballpoint pen?
Yeah.
I got you.
Well, he drew his symbol on the car door, and he wrote below it, Vallejo, /12/2068, /7469, September 27th, 69, 6:30, by knife.
So it's a full description of the murder, essentially.
It's all the murders.
Oh, okay.
12/20/68, 7/4/69, September 27th, 69, 6:30 by knife. So it's the two murders, and then it is
the current murder.
The current murder with time and how he did it.
Okay.
But why did he write it on Brian's car?
Who knows?
I don't know.
Who knows why he did anything, honestly.
By 7:40, so just over an hour later, the Zodiac had called Napa County Sheriff's Office from a payphone to report his latest attack. I want to report a murder. No, a double murder. And then stated he was the killer. The phone he called from was found a couple minutes later, still off the receiver. And it was found at a Napa car wash on Main Street in Napa, but was 27 miles from the crime scene.
So he drove all that way to use the phone. And
yeah,
then...
I don't know why he was like, I want to go to that payphone. Or I almost wonder if he's waiting a certain amount of time. Because remember, he waited almost an hour to call on the last attack.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he was just like, well, I'm going to drive until I've reached an hour, and then I'll just find a payphone and call.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Because it wouldn't take an hour to drive the 27 miles, but if he attacked them at 6:30, walked the 500 yards to Brian's car, and then drew on the car.
Yeah, it would probably take about an hour.
Right. Detectives were able to lift a palm print from the phone, but they've never been able to match it to any of their suspects.
Oh, so that's where that came from?
Yeah. After hearing the victim scream for help, a man and his son who were fishing in a nearby cove discovered the victims and summoned help by contacting park rangers. Napa County Sheriff Deputy Dave Collins and Ray Land were the first law enforcement officers to arrive at the crime scene. Cecilia was conscious when Collins arrived, providing him with a detailed description of the attacker. Brian and Cecilia were taken to Queen of the Valley Hospital in Napa by ambulance.
Wait, so were they both alive?
They were both alive when the police arrived.
Oh, wow.
Cecilia lapsed into a coma during transport, and she never regained consciousness. She died 2 days later. But Brian survived. Imagine getting stabbed 10 times and being awake, laying there bleeding out for over an hour.
Next to your significant other who is also bleeding out.
Yeah.
That would be the actual worst thing on this earth.
And now I will take you to October 11th of 69. So this is just 2 weeks after this attack. And I'm going to tell you about Paul Stein. He is 29 years old. A white male passenger entered Paul's cab at the intersection of Mason and Geary Streets, which is 1 block west from Union Square. This is still in California.
Okay.
I forgot. It wasn't in there, so I had to remind myself. So I figured I'd remind you as well.
Thank you.
The man asked Paul to drive him to the corner of Washington and Maple in Presidio Heights. But for an unknown reason, Paul drove 1 block past Maple to Cherry Street. Zodiac then shot Paul once in the head with a 9mm handgun. He took his wallet and his car keys, and he tore a section of his shirt tail, which had his blood on it.
Okay.
3 teens saw the man from across the street and called the police while it was happening, after he had shot him and was taking his stuff.
Okay.
The teens watched the man wipe down the cab before walking away toward Presidio, which was 1 block to the north of where they were. 2 blocks from the crime scene, patrol officers Don Folk and Eric Zelms responded to the call, observed a white man walking along the sidewalk and he was walking east on Jackson Street. And he stepped into the stairway leading up to the front yard of one of the homes on the north side of the street. They were driving and they saw him walking.
Okay.
And they're remembering this later. They said it only lasted 5 to 10 seconds that they saw this man. The dude was just walking and he just happened to head up a set of steps.
But it was probably
him. Folk estimated the white male to be between 35 to 45, described him as 5'10", with a crew cut, similar but slightly older than the description provided by the teenagers who observed the killer that got out of Paul's cab.
That's crazy to think that they could have had him.
Mm-hmm. The teenagers had described the suspect to be 25 to 30 years old with a crew cut and approximately 5'8" to 5'9".
So just like a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, so we have like an inch difference and like a 5 to 10 year age difference.
Yeah. Which really is pretty subjective.
Exactly. Like we just talked about earlier.
Yeah.
However, somehow it was told to the officers that they were looking for a black suspect. So that's why they didn't stop and talk to the man that was walking up the steps. Because they were looking for somebody else.
How does that get lost in
I
translation?
have no idea.
Or did they just decide because...
No, like it was, they were driving looking for people and someone had told them they were looking for a black suspect.
That's really odd.
And obviously there was a search made for the killer, but of course there was no leads.
Of course.
And there was no suspects found for his murder either. And this is the last officially confirmed murder of the Zodiac Killer. And Paul's murder was initially believed to be a routine robbery that just like escalated into murder.
Mm-hmm.
But on October 13th, the San Francisco Chronicle received a new letter from the Zodiac that claimed credit for the killing, and it contained a section of Paul's shirt with the letter.
Oh, which was the piece that he ripped off.
Yes. Because I saw the way you looked at me when I said he ripped part of his shirt off, and I was like, I'm just not going to say nothing.
Yeah, I was like, what does this have to do with literally anything?
And he sent that in with it to prove that he was the killer. And the 3 teen witnesses worked with police to prepare a sketch of the killer. And then detectives Bill Armstrong and Dave Toshchi? Toshchi? Toschchi?
Maybe. I don't know.
Detectives Bill and Dave.
There you go.
Were assigned to the case. And the San Francisco Police Department investigated 2,500 suspects over the period of the next couple years, and none of them turned up anything.
2,500? I feel like at that point you're just walking around the street being like, I think you're the Zodiac. Come on.
I think it might be you, buddy. And then I'm going to read you the solution to the next cipher that was sent in by the Zodiac.
Okay.
And this actually wasn't solved until December of 2020.
Oh, really?
Yes. I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show, which bringo up a point about me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner because I now have enough slaves to work for me where everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise. So they are afraid of death. I am not afraid because I know that my new life is life. God, this dude cannot spell anything. They are afraid of death. I am not afraid because I know that my new life will be an easy one in paradise. And that is the solution to the 340 symbol cipher that was solved December 2020, including faithful transliterations of spelling and grammar errors in the original, which is why it was so hard for me to read.
See, and thinking about it, like, that makes sense, but who knows if that's actually what it's supposed to say.
Right.
And, like, who knows if the Zodiac is even around to tell us if it's right.
Mm-hmm. And also with this cipher, it included a threat about killing school children on a school bus. And to do this, the Zodiac wrote he would just shoot out the tires and then pick off the kitties as they come bouncing out.
That's terrifying.
And that was in this cipher. And I will post pictures of these as well. All the ones I have read you today, I will post pictures of. But I actually think I am going to cut us off a little early. And I will give you the rest of it next week.
Otherwise, this episode will be like 3 hours long.
But I will also have lots more explanations for you next week. And I will also tell you guys about the unconfirmed murders next week.
So are you going to need me to do a short thing next week?
Whatever you like. We'll just do a bunch of long episodes. It's all good.
Okay, because mine is fairly long today. So now we're going to talk about the Backrooms. Do you know anything about the Backrooms?
I listened to M's story on And That's Why We Drink About It, but that is all my information.
Okay.
I'm very intrigued.
So the Backrooms based on their Reddit bio and also what is on the front page of their website if you go to the website. If you're not careful and you no clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the Backrooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell heard you.
That gives me sensory issues immediately.
What, talking about the moist carpet and mono yellow?
Yes. And just like empty space, because you know it's musty as fuck in there.
Yeah. So I wanted to explain this first, and just so that everybody knows, the Backrooms is like a conspiracy theory, air quotes, in that some people who come across it at first will think that it's actually a real thing. But the whole premise is that it's a world building thing that started on Reddit, where it's like somebody came up with the idea for the Backrooms and then people have just kind of latched onto it and built this entire universe surrounding it.
So they just talk about it like it is real?
Yeah.
Got it.
In terms of size, the Backrooms can be seen in different ways size-wise. Some people see it as infinite, and others keep true to the original 600 million square mile description, which basically is infinite. I mean, 600...
They're the same thing to me.
Like 600 square miles? Okay.
I have no object permanence. If it's not in front of me, it's infinite. It doesn't end.
And the next sentence literally says, it's your choice how you handle it, how you decide about the Backrooms. In terms of levels aren't like the levels of a building, but instead signify how deep you are in the Backrooms. At the moment, there are 3 distinct ways to look at the level system in the Backrooms. 1. There are no levels, just the Backrooms. This is self-explanatory. The idea behind this is that everything that is seen as level X in the Backrooms is just a part of the Backrooms as a whole, and you don't necessarily need to go deeper to come across it.
So it's either like there's levels or everything's just out there?
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, I'm going to read you like other descriptions. The second way to see the system is the 3-level system, possibly the most widely known of the 3. This system goes off the idea that the Backrooms have 3 levels. Level 1 is the standard Backrooms, mono yellow hallways, carpet, buzzing lights.
Carpet.
Moist carpet. More slightly different hallways, the standard stuff, and it's seen as the safest of the 3. Level 2 is more dangerous. It's much darker, hostile, and depending on who you hear it from, it can have varying amounts of features. But most of them have an industrial theme, with concrete, metal, and pipes being very prominent.
I was going to say, do you think they still have carpet? Like, is the carpet just wet now, or?
It just gets more wet as you go. Level 3 is the most dangerous and is the hardest to get to. Going there by choice is essentially committing suicide, as the level itself is pretty much out to kill you. It's very dark and very dangerous.
So that one's just like the Hunger Games.
Yes. And then we move to the third system that people use, which is the extended lore. The extended lore takes the 3-level system and says, fuck it, here's 40 more.
You're right.
That is a direct quote from the website.
So do we have 43?
And no, it's just like using 40 as like a random number of like... It has a lot of levels, and it implies that there are millions that we haven't gotten to yet. The extended lore can be good if you want to write about new Backrooms canon, and or if the 3 levels aren't enough to scratch the urge to explore deeper. So I mentioned at the beginning no clipping, which is how to get into the Backrooms. To no clip, one needs to be traveling fast enough to pass through any solid object like a wall without breaking it. If this is performed successfully, one will have no clipped. It is quite easy to incorrectly perform this, causing one to either injure themselves or to end up in the void. So essentially, it's like how you enter Hogwarts.
I was thinking die, but okay, we can just enter the void. Okay.
But it's like how they enter Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Essentially. So now that we know how to enter the Backrooms, we're going to talk about all of the different levels. So, normal levels form the framework of the backrooms and vary greatly in size, danger, and inability. Typical levels for whatever value of typical can be expected from the backrooms tend to be infinite in size, though bounded levels are not unheard of. So typically levels go on forever, but sometimes there are like constraints to it.
Got it.
And they often provoke a feeling of uncanny familiarity to those happening upon them. The laws of physics and nature as we know them cannot be relied on in the depths of the backrooms. Nevertheless, some of the more hospitable and stable levels are home to thriving communities, and some inhabitants have managed to survive in even the most dangerous levels.
So you're telling me, like, I could just walk into a room and there'll be, like, no gravity?
Yeah. It's all up to everybody's imagination.
Well, if I ever get stuck there, I don't have imagination. Bye. The only thing I can imagine is dinosaur chicken nuggets and fries on the stove.
I love that. And actually, because I mentioned that it's like there are people that live in the back rooms. Mm-hmm. If you get like really deep into research, we're not going to talk about this much, but there are like exploration groups on the website that you can read about of people that are like explorers in the back rooms that live there.
All right.
It's super interesting, like, how far they have stretched, like...
So it's like Game of Thrones, like, they live beyond the wall?
Yes.
Got it.
They are the wildlings.
They are the wildlings.
So now I'm going to read you the description for the first 3 normal levels in the backrooms.
I'm so excited. So is this... Which, like, level strategy is this following?
This is following the traditional, like, with all the levels.
Just making sure.
So this is level 0, which is a part of the... It's weird because it's like levels within levels. So like the 3-level system just applies to how difficult it is.
Right.
So this is like level 0, but it is a first level room, if that makes sense.
Because it's like a chapter, and then these are all your stories within the chapter.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. I was, like, really worried that I was going to confuse myself here.
I got your back, buddy.
So, level 0 is a non-linear space resembling the back rooms of a retail outlet. Similar to its previous form, all rooms in level 0 appear uniform and share superficial features, such as yellowed wallpaper, damp carpet, and inconsistently placed for fluorescent lighting. Wow, I don't know why I struggled so hard.
I'm getting, like, abandoned mental hospital vibes.
Really?
Yeah.
I just keep picturing, like, abandoned mall vibes.
Me too, but for some reason, I can picture carpet easier in a hospital than I can the mall.
Really?
I don't know why.
There's more likely to be carpet in a mall than a hospital, though.
I'm just telling you what I got.
So no 2 rooms within level 0 are identical. The installed lighting flickers inconsistently and hums at a constant frequency. This buzzing is notably louder and more obtrusive than ordinary fluorescent humming. An examination of the fixtures to determine the source has been inconclusive.
I feel like that would make me lose my marbles.
Oh yeah. I would just lay down and die right there. I cannot stand noise. Like, no thank you. The substance saturating the carpet cannot be consistently identified. It is not water, nor is it safe to consume.
Huh?
So we don't know what the mysterious liquid is that's on the carpet.
I need to leave. I need to leave.
I'm just picturing, like, being barefoot and, like, the squish of carpet.
No, actually, that's my mom calling. I have to leave.
Yeah, no, I cannot do that. Not for my eyes, not for my feet.
Not for my toes.
Linear space in level 0 is altered drastically. It is possible to walk in a straight line and return to the starting point, and retracing your steps will result in a different set of rooms appearing than the ones you already passed through. Due to this and the visual similarities between rooms, consistent navigation is extremely difficult. Devices such as compasses and GPS locators fail to function within the level, and radio communications are distorted and unreliable.
So you're just, like, in the labyrinth?
Yeah.
Got it.
Level 0 is entirely still and devoid of life. Despite the fact that it is the primary entrance to the Backrooms, contact with other wanderers within the level has never been reported. Presumably, a great number of people have died before exiting, the most likely cause being dehydration, starvation, and psychological trauma due to sensory deprivation and isolation. However, no corpses have been reported from these hypothetical deaths. Attempting to enter level 0 in a group will result in the separation of the group until the level is exited.
See, that's the worst. I can't stand being alone, bro.
Level 0 is literally out to get you.
Yeah, like, what are they talking about? This is the easiest.
Yeah.
I could not. I'm not a survivor.
It kind of reminds me, I'm almost picturing, like, Maze Runner.
Yeah.
How the maze changes and, like, separates you and stuff. That's kind of what I picture.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at.
So the most common hallucinations that happen in level 0 is humming from the lighting increasing to a deafening volume, then abruptly silencing. The appearance of doors, the appearance of stairs, acute déjà vu, human-like speech resembling no known language, movement in peripheral vision resembling insects crawling underneath the wallpaper, which disappears once the wall is observed directly, and insect-like chittering. Ugh.
So basically, like, your brain just convinces you you're on meth?
Is that what meth is like?
From everything I've heard. I've never done it.
I couldn't deal with the bugs thing.
The bugs or the humming of the lights?
Yeah. See, and I already feel like I do that with bugs. Like, ever since we've been finding a lot of big spiders, if I, like, see a spot on the wall, I'm like, oh, that's a spider.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's awful.
I have to put my feet up because I'm not safe. A spider's going to get me.
So we're going to move on to level 1 now. Level 1 is a large, sprawling warehouse that features concrete floors and walls, exposed rebar, and a low-hanging fog with no discernible source.
So we're going to work.
Yes.
Okay.
I was going to make a comment that there is definitely not low-hanging fog where we work. The fog often coalesces into condensation, forming puddles on the floor in inconsistent areas. Unlike level 0, this level possesses a constant supply of water and electricity, which allows indefinite habitation by wanderers, providing that appropriate precautions are taken. It is also far more expansive, possessing staircases, elevators, isolated rooms, and hallways.
You can live here if you're careful. That's what that just said.
Yeah, essentially. Crates of supplies appear and disappear randomly within the level, often containing a mixture of vital items: food, almond water, batteries, tarps, weaponry, clothing, medical supplies, and nonsensical objects. Assorted car parts, boxes of crayons, used syringes, partially burned paper, live mice in a catatonic state that have been injected with unknown substances. That's so specific.
How do you know?
That's so specific.
How do you know they've been injected? Are you the one doing it?
With the used syringes.
I'm stressed.
Shoelaces, loose change, bundles of human hair.
What?
The crates should be approached with caution due to their contents, but are a valuable resource.
What's in them?
What do you mean?
Like, what else is in them? Like, it's like, nothing in there's gonna, like, kill you.
But they should be approached with caution?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe there's a chance that there could be something else in there?
I don't know, are the catatonic rats coming at me? Like, they gonna wake up?
Well, there's also, like, live mice in there, too, sometimes.
Mice don't scare me.
Maybe there are zombie mice. The catatonic state.
That might scare me. I don't know, I just felt like there was something, like, way more dangerous coming when you were, like, need to be approached with caution.
Oh, that's literally all it says.
I'm stressed.
In addition, crude paintings and drawings with no apparent origin or meaning appear on the walls and floor.
Okay, are the drawings on paper on the wall, or are they just on the wall?
I think they're just on the wall. Because it says they appear on the walls.
See, that's scarier to me.
Well, wait till you hear the next sentence.
I don't want to.
They are known to change in appearance and disappear when not in direct line of sight, or when unlit. The light fixtures within level 1 are prone to flicker and fail, not fall.
They're falling? Are we at work again?
That should have been one of the reasons I was losing my marbles, because of them dropping all the light fixtures at work. Are known to fail at inconsistent intervals. When this occurs, supplies are liable to vanish inexplicably, and hostile entities may appear unexpectedly. These entities rarely attack in groups and tend to avoid light and large gatherings of people. It is advised to carry a reliable light source and sleep holding whatever items you do not wish to lose. Could you imagine if you just have to hold all your possessions while you sleep?
I'm uncomfortable. I don't like that. I only have 2 hands.
And we are going to talk about entities as well. We're going to talk about, after I read you the level descriptions, we're going to talk about entities and also items that you can find. Because there are some interesting ones.
You see. What if I don't want to?
Well, we're going to.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be interactive. You get to pick which ones we read about.
I'm scared.
Level 2 is called Pipe Dreams. And the description is unsafe, secure, low entity count.
Unsafe and secure?
Yeah. It's unsafe, but it's secure in saying that you can't get out of it because it's so secure.
Great.
Level 2 consists of mainly dark gray concrete maintenance tunnels stretching on for millions of miles. The walls are lined with pipes and occasionally ventilation ducts, which often contain a thick, viscous black liquid.
The ventilation ducts?
Yes.
Is that why it's unsafe?
Probably. Doors can sometimes be found, but most are locked or lead into dead ends. These rooms typically house shelves with random assortments of objects, occasionally computers. At certain parts and hallways in Level 2, the heat can become unbearable, reaching 43 degrees Celsius or 110 degrees Fahrenheit, or higher. The entities found on this level are some of the most dangerous in the Backrooms. Noises can be heard from the vents, which are caused by crawlers. You can also find Mark in employee bathrooms on Level 2.
You can't just, skip over the crawlers part?
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Okay, and what is Mark doing?
I don't know.
We rocking with Mark because Mark's rocking with us?
I want you to know I'm reading the descriptions off of the website, so this isn't something that I've paraphrased. That's literally all it says. It just says you can find Mark in employee bathrooms on Level 2.
See, but I'm not only questioning you, I'm also questioning them.
Oh, I'm questioning them too. Other beings here include smilers, child facelings, clumps, hounds, male death moths.
What are female death moths?
I don't know.
Also, what are clumps?
Wretches, bursters, and skin stealers.
Skin stealers?
Yeah. The only thing you need to know and can know is to run away the moment you see one. Well, yeah.
Any of them, or
yeah, I
just
think
the skin stealers?
I think any of them.
Yeah.
So originally I was going to actually go to the list of entities and let you pick off of them, but do you want to just pick out of these? Oh, which ones do you want to hear about?
I guess, since I know names. Tell me about these clumps, first of all.
Okay. Clumps are strange, dangerous bundles of limbs capable of tremendous speed and incredible agility. Their preferred habitat in a majority of levels are spaces which are tight in comparison to their size, with the largest record specimens being about 3 feet.
3 or 30?
3 feet.
Okay. So it's tumbleweeds of human appendages.
Yeah, essentially. There's a picture of them, if you want to see it. That's literally what it looks like.
That's worse than I was picturing.
It's just a bunch of hands and legs in a ball.
Yeah, I really did not think... That's not what I thought. I don't like it.
I like that you just have no words.
I don't like it.
So they can mostly be found in Level 2 and Level 3.
I'm going to be staying right here and level my damn house.
Clumps seem to be in a constant state of hunger. Relatable content. Roaming levels in search of prey. When prey is found, clumps will make their way towards it. When within 8 feet, clumps will stretch out their longest limb in an attempt to capture it, bringing the prey towards their center to reveal a mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth.
So it's a human octopus?
Yeah, kind of. The human tumbleweed octopus.
I don't like it.
From there, the prey will be eaten. However, for unknown reasons, not many are known to attack right away. Great, that makes me
What does it do?
That makes me feel so much better.
Well, yeah, what does it do?
He's just standing there, menacingly. As said before, clumps consist of a multitude of limbs, all varying in length and muscular structure. This unusual structure affects the way clumps run. They tend to swipe at the floor in order to move. Once in motion, they exhibit incredible amounts of strength and speed, being very agile with their movement. There have also been reports of eyes and ears being seen emerging from the mass of appendages.
Just like move around? Like
guess.
the eyes? Just rolling around?
And then they just kind of pop out wherever they want to.
I don't like it here.
So we're going to read the do's and don'ts about clumps. So the do section is stay silent in their presence and keep at least 8 feet away from them.
It doesn't really sound like that's an option.
And also it says retreat at the sound of multiple people running. So it just sounds like a group of people running.
I'm not a survivor. I'm just simply not.
I'm just picturing it as like comical at this point. Like that would be so funny.
Oh no, I'm terrified of that thing.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it.
So in the don't section it says don't go near them at all.
Yeah, I kind of got that much. Thank you for the help.
And don't try to interact with them.
Yeah?
Don't stick around when a clump is moving into its position.
What's its position?
Like its hiding spot.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? The attack position? Like, I don't understand.
And that's all I have about clumps.
Thank God. I don't need any more knowledge about clumps. I'm never going to be able to forget that.
What do you want to talk about next?
Bedtime? I don't...
I'll give you 2 options. The death moths, since you seemed interested in that, or the skin stealers.
I'm not interested in either of them. Fucking tell me about the moth, I guess. I don't know.
I like that the picture for this one is literally just like a doodle. It looks like somebody did it on like a napkin with a pen.
Is it Mothman?
I mean, you tell me.
It's not.
Death moths are giant moths that inhabit the backrooms. While the male death moths are mostly harmless and possibly even tameable, the female moths are several times larger.
Oh no.
Can spit acid and are entirely hostile.
Oh no, I did that. Because I asked where they were.
What do you mean?
Because you said the male death moths. I was like, well, where are the females?
Oh, you manifested it?
Unfortunately, I do apologize.
Death moths are attracted to light, so if you hear the fluttering of wings nearby, make sure to put any light source out. Smaller death moths inhabit level 2, 3, and 5, but the larger and more dangerous ones only appear in level 5, where their hive is centralized and where the king and queen are. They have completely taken over the level and are the only things there besides the mysterious beast.
No. Not for me.
Death moths vary in hostility and biology depending on the level they are found in. The hive, considered the source of death moths, is where they are the deadliest and most aggressive. However, individual death moths on every level vary in danger.
So you're really just like blind out there. It could really go either way. They could be your pet or they're going to spit acid on you.
Well, the females are the ones that aren't nice. The
are
males...
you just going to like creep around to check out their genitalia? How do you sex moths?
I don't know how you sex moths.
Exactly. So it's either going to be tameable or it's going to spit acid on you.
I guess you would just like approach all of them with caution at that point.
I would not be approaching, actually.
That's probably on the do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
The do's and don'ts don't seem very helpful. Because it's literally
they
just
seem like they're common fucking sense.
Do not approach it. The death moths are giant moths, although they do not share any similarities with normal moths. The majority of their lifespan, birth, and death is completely unknown.
So how do you know they're not like regular moths? Also, don't regular moths like light? Just like these do?
Yeah, but it says they don't share any similarities.
Okay, well, somebody's playing my life right now, because they obviously do.
So on the do's and don'ts. The do: avoid contact and do not act aggressive. The don't: Don't attempt to aggravate the moth.
God bless America.
I'm just like beside myself about these descriptions.
I literally, what website is this?
Backroomswiki.com.
Okay, well, I'm calling the police on them.
Well, this is like the official Backrooms website.
I'm calling the police.
Would you like to hear about another entity, or do you want to move on to objects?
Tell me about the skin stealers, I guess.
Okay. Skin stealers are large humanoid entities that can wear the skin of their victims as a disguise. They eat human flesh when in a hunger state and otherwise roam aimlessly if they do not need to eat. Their blood is translucent and they can mimic human speech. They are most commonly found on the first 4 levels, but have been reported in several levels.
So is it just like Ed Gein?
That's the dude with the nipple belt, right?
Yes.
Yeah, essentially. Except I don't think they're as creative.
I also don't think Ed Gein's blood was translucent.
I also don't think that. Skin stealers are typically docile creatures and will wander aimlessly if they do not need to feed. In this stage, they will not be hostile unless you aggravate them. In a hunger state, they will seek out humans wandering alone and will then use their strength to tear them apart with their hands.
So it's just like a caveman?
Yeah. A disgruntled caveman.
That one wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. I kind of thought that would be the scariest one.
No, it's really not that bad. And the picture of it kind of just looks like Bigfoot, almost.
That's kind of what I was picturing.
Yeah, it kind of just looks like Bigfoot. So a little bit more about them. Skin stealers are tall, pale yellow humanoids with sunken white eyes. Their outer layer of flesh is covered with microscopic bumps similar to the suckers of an octopus's tentacle.
Suction cups?
Yeah. But they're like microscopic.
It was just, yeah, I was just like suckers, and then I was like, did they mean suction cups?
Essentially. That just made me think of Mr. Krabs. I want to see empty suction cups. Sorry.
You're fine.
So these stick to skin that is torn off of humans and push and pull it on to make it fit. Ugh.
I don't like that.
Until the skin stealer looks identical to a human. These bumps also pump blood and nutrients into the skin to make it feel warm and alive, as well as prevent decomposition.
Okay, this is getting progressively more frightening the longer you speak.
I'm sorry, would you like me to stop?
No, it's okay.
In addition, it heals the skin, hiding any cut that may identify a real human. After a period of around 24 hours, the skin will be digested through the surface of the skin stealer, and the skin stealer will enter a docile state.
Okay.
So essentially it wears the skin and then absorbs it. But I don't understand what it's getting out of being a human.
It just likes it.
I guess. Because it's not like it's using its ability to become a human to attract other humans, because once it kills one and eats it, it's fine. Like, I don't know. So I don't really understand.
They just like it.
I guess. Yeah, it's just for fun. They also have the ability to speak, but it cannot understand language. It will repeat what it hears, often in varying languages, in order to lure in prey. But it cannot actually communicate. Although, since a typical skin stealer rarely uses their voice, this is not a good way to tell them apart from real humans.
It kind of reminds me of, like, birds. How birds will mimic what they hear.
But, like, they don't use their voice normally? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, like, just them, like, speaking. It reminds me of a bird. Like, they will mimic what they hear, but they're not just gonna have a conversation with you.
Oh, yeah, I got you. And the last thing about the skin stealer is the do's and don'ts, of course. So, do walk away slowly and calmly if you see one. And do check anyone you are traveling with for clear blood. So you're supposed to just prick everybody and see if they have clear blood.
Thought it was you couldn't travel with anyone.
That's only in the first level. Or I think it was level 0.
Got it. Okay.
These ones are found in level 1, 2, and 3. And don't trust people that barely speak or say random assortments of words. And don't aggravate the skin stealer in its docile state.
Common sense.
I love the don't trust people that barely speak.
It's That's why no one talks to me.
That was me in high school. I was a skin stealer. I didn't talk to people.
You've evolved away from being a skin stealer now?
Yes. I'm a true human now.
You've evolved.
So now that I've traumatized you, we are going to talk about objects.
Are these going to be scary?
No.
Okay.
Some of them are super random. Some of them would probably be helpful in this situation. It's just very up in the air. So pick a number between 1 and 26.
22.
All right. You picked Wayback Machine.
Take me back to before I went into the fucking Backrooms, I would hope.
Wayback Machines are a way to view the past conditions of objects.
Oh, never mind. It's not saving my ass.
Wayback Machines are relatively rare and vintage computers. Due to their age, many may be destroyed or damaged beyond usage. Breaking one apart reveals a large black box made of an unknown material. The material feels smooth and is safe to touch and keep. Why is it specifically safe to touch and keep? What materials can't you keep?
I don't know.
It has no use on its own and is only usable when paired with the rest of the Wayback Machine's hardware and software. Wayback Machines are able to view and revert an object back to its previous state. If an item is placed within 30 centimeters of a Wayback Machine, one can start to describe the image using the keyboard. This will input the data into the black box and attempt to find the nearby object. The system is faulty and is prone to malfunction, with extensions having been built to aid in usage.
So it's like, this machine might help you, but there's a good chance it will fuck it up.
Yeah. Also, the next line says that... Oh, it says extensions of this device mimic a 3D printer in appearance. I was thinking that it just said that it mimicked a 3D printer, and I was like, they just said that it looks like an old computer.
An old computer and a 3D printer.
So it's a 3D printer plugged into an old computer, essentially.
Yeah.
So Wayback Machines can be found in level 4 and occasionally higher floors of level 13.
I really feel like that should be on like level 0, because that shit's really not going to help you.
But if you think about it, you wouldn't really have a use for it until you've explored more and you like need to revert your items back to...
It really don't sound like I'm ever going to have a use for it, because it sounds like I'm going to need it and it's going to fuck it up.
It's going to be broken and then you're going to have to go find a 3D printer to plug into it.
Exactly. That sounds like a fucking side quest.
Reading about all these items just makes me think about like D&D and stuff. All right, once again, pick a number between 1 and 26.
7.
Memory jar.
Is it going to take my memories? Because I feel like it's going to take them.
I don't know. We'll find out together.
I'm going to be pissed.
Memory jars are glass jars that are regularly empty.
Shit, it really is going to steal my memories.
This is their deactivated state. It is not possible to put anything in a memory jar, as it will just disappear.
Shit!
If a wanderer dies possessing a memory jar, their memories will appear as small spheres inside the jar. Just makes you think of, this is a core memory.
Yeah. Also, it really do be stealing your shit.
Yeah. And then the memory jar will appear in an active state, so after it steals your memories.
Can you steal someone else's memories from the memory jar?
I don't think so. But then I don't know what the purpose of just having...
Someone else's... Oh, continue.
We're going to read about it.
Got it. Okay.
So the color of these spheres varies depending on the ex-holder's personality. So this is interesting. A pink memory jar holds the memories of a light-hearted, energetic person. Blue is held by pessimists or people who are sad most of their life. Oh. Red is held by aggressive or violent people or people who have committed a crime.
Oh my.
Green is held by calm or laid-back people. Purple is held by shy or scared people. Yellow is held by outgoing or brave people. And black would be held by entities. That's interesting.
What color would your jar be?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like mine would be a mixed a mixed jar.
Mine would be purple because I know I'd be fucking terrified.
Oh, just like in terms of being in the back rooms?
Oh, I just in general. I'm just scared.
You're a scared, shy person?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know. Black. I'm an entity.
I mean, you did tell me that you were a skin stealer.
Exactly. So I'm hoping this will answer your question because it says opening a memory jar.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who opens an activated memory jar will be able to view memories in the memory jars of the memory jar's late holder. So you can essentially just like watch the memories.
Mm-hmm.
The memories play as a hologram video. If memories were inserted into a computer system, the memories would be saved as videos in a new folder labeled Memories of the Late.
Alrighty. So can the jar be emptied after it is full?
I guess, yeah.
Is that what that is saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So
But-
who's just going around emptying these jars?
And also, I don't know what the purpose would be because it says that the person has to die in order for their memories to go into the jar.
Mm-hmm.
So then what practical use would you have for that?
Could give it to your family. Like to the late person's family.
I guess, yeah. But if it's just like in the back room somewhere, are you just expecting somebody to find it?
Maybe. Sounds like you're expecting everyone to die in there, so...
So if there's just all these memory jars out there, who's going to do anything about it if they're all going to die?
That's why they're putting them on the computers. They're going to email them to you. I don't know.
I'm just asking the important questions.
And I'm just making shit up.
So the last two things that we're going to talk about is, I think this is how you pronounce it, enigmatic levels and sub-levels.
Is it like Enigma? Is that...
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
The enigmatic levels are areas of the backrooms which do not have an ordinal placement and are very mysterious.
So yeah. My
Some,
mind is an enigma.
is that a Patrick Star quote?
It sure is.
If I hear one more pop culture reference, I forget what that's even a reference to. I think it's South Park.
It is.
Okay. I thought so. Some levels here are safe as far as we know, but some can be dangerous, though it is less likely. These levels have stranger properties than most levels, giving them unique names and or numbers. A lot of these levels were recently discovered. It is theorized there are still many more enigmatic levels to be found. So these levels are mostly made by people on the Reddit.
Right.
Like, these are the extended lore
Mm-hmm.
levels.
For people that are really in there.
Yeah.
Got it.
And you can definitely tell just by the names of these that they were made by random people. Because one of them is like level fun with a smiley face, or level negative 998, or level nothing at all.
Like there's no correlation between titles.
Yeah. The totally symmetrical level. Oh, this one sounds interesting. This is the Blue Channel.
Oh my.
The Blue Channel is an area that exists outside of all levels in the back room. It is comprised mainly of a disorienting blue void. The void is completely absent of any shading, other colors, or patterns, thus making it one singular and disorienting color no matter what direction or axis it's viewed at. That's terrifying.
So yeah, you're just standing in like blue.
Oh, that's awful. That's like such a trip. Like, I can't.
It makes me think of when like computers blue screen.
Yeah. Just imagine standing in the middle of that.
Yeah, goodbye.
Although tests have shown that the blue channel is 99.9% dead space and devoid of atoms, one can float seamlessly no matter their y-axis. Any wanderer will also be able to swim through the blue channel as if they were swimming through a body of water. One must be careful when traversing, however, as one can easily flip themselves and become disoriented and confused as to what way they're facing. To compensate for this, one should always have some sort of handheld gyroscope on their person. When one initially enters the blue channel, the view of countless levels can be seen from behind. Depending on the construction of levels, one may see different level exteriors. Interestingly, the exteriors of the insulation are not visible from within the blue channel, leaving only the main levels themselves visible. So you can see other things.
Yeah. That was what I was thinking about at first, because I was wondering, like, when you enter the room, does the door disappear? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, the next paragraph is going to answer that.
Oh, okay.
If you can't tell, like, just for the listeners, I wanted to react to some of this stuff together. So, like, with these descriptions and stuff, I'm just reading them directly from the website. Because I feel like that's more organic than me, like, I don't know, just, like, reading robotically.
Right. If you were
notes.
to pick them, it would be different than, like, us scrolling through them together.
Yeah. So this is kind of an explanation about being able to see the other levels. If a level takes place in an exterior setting, then a large skybox-esque dome will surround the area of the level, with a thick platform of whatever ground material the ground of the level is comprised of underneath the skybox.
I feel like we're in Minecraft. I'm getting Minecraft vibes.
If a level takes place in a large yet finite interior level, the walls of countless rooms can be sighted. If that level happens to have doors, then there will be doors that lead to interiors of those levels. If a level is infinite, then one will still see the end of the level. So I think that's essentially saying that even if the level, like the blue channel, is like a void, you can still see where you came from. That's what I'm getting out of that.
Kind of. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm, like, getting to. Because it's like, this is your starting point, and it just goes
On
like,
from the starting
there,
point.
yeah.
So you can still see the level behind you, or, like, know that that's there. But then everything else is just infinite.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's all that I have about the blue channel.
Good, because that should give me a headache.
Yeah, that last paragraph kind of gave me a headache. I thought it was going to answer our question, but I think we more just came up with our own.
Yeah, the amount of dead air where we just stared at each other, we were like, what is happening? Yeah.
And now the last thing to give us a headache is sublayers. So sublayers are locations that usually add more detail to an existing level. There are two types of sublayers, sublevels and rooms. Sublevels are levels that are related to their parent level, but are still its own distinct thing. So it's like level 0, but then a sub-level would be 0.1.
It's just a spinoff.
Yeah.
It's like if you have a book series and you do something, like, related to it. You're just doing a spinoff.
So these are spin-off levels.
Yes.
Rooms are locations that are too small to be considered their own level. Usually they are places in an existing level, but that is not always the case.
Right. So most of the time it's a subcategory, but there are some exceptions.
I feel like this is very confusing. Like, whoever created the Backrooms was like, we're going to have these levels, but then there's also going to be, like, littler things that are still relevant to the levels, and then we're going to have rooms, but then there's other rooms that are still relevant to the rooms that are in the levels. It's like, it's a whole thing.
I think another part of that is because so many people have worked on it.
So then people just keep adding and adding and adding, and then the denominations of things just keep getting smaller and smaller.
Because people are trying to be like, well, mine's going to be different than everybody else's, so it needs to be separate from everybody else's.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what happened.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So I'm only going to read you one sub-level description, and that is level 0.1. So level 0.1 consists of many cube or rectangular shapes in random and chaotic structure. The entirety of the level is lined with carpet on all sides. The carpet is usually a dark blue with other mixed colors.
Is it moist?
I don't think so.
Good.
But the carpet slightly varies from cube to cube. The carpet always has distinct straight lines that run parallel to the cube's edge. Some walls have even shown to defy gravity, allowing someone to sit, stand, or walk on them. However, due to their rarity, not much else is known. The entire level is filled with a thick, light blue fog that limits vision to around 70 feet. Staring at the fog, especially when the fog is thicker, will summon a being that travels the level. So don't stare at the fog.
I'm still getting, like, major Minecraft vibes.
Like creepers from
Enderman.
Minecraft? Oh, yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Because it's, like...
The tall,
Yes.
Yeah.
Dark with purple eyes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it's, like, there's blocks everywhere and cubes and shapes and don't look at this or it'll summon a demon. Like, I'm in Minecraft. I am in Minecraft.
The being is the only known entity on level 0.1. Said being is known to have at least 6 limbs that usually reach out from the fog to grab the staring occupant.
Enderman.
Yeah, essentially. The area of 0.1 has shown to break clocks and divert time. Many felt as if they had been there hours or minutes, but they could have been there for years or less time than they felt in the area. It is known that people here felt hungry one moment and then the next feel full despite never eating. That's so random.
I wish that was me.
The only known objects in this area are chess pieces. If you try to pick up a chess piece without touching it, you will still be able to do so. However, doing so changes its size based on perspective. So that's kind of interesting. So you can, like, levitate things?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And, like, make things bigger or smaller?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all about 0.1.
It's Minecraft. 0.1 is VR Minecraft.
And did I say the title of that one?
No.
It's called Chaotic Structure.
You might have. I'm not sure, but...
I'm not sure.
It'll be in there again. So VR Minecraft is where we're ending?
Yep.
Nice. I think that was a good ending point. I'm not terrified.
Yeah, I feel like it didn't wrap up super well, but I gave you all the information that I wanted to give you, so...
I think it wrapped up pretty nicely.
So yeah, that was the Backrooms in all its entirety.
That's like a lot to cover.
Yeah.
You did good, buddy.
Are we ready for shower thoughts?
Possibly. Do you have some?
Yes. Somewhere out there, somebody has a kink for stepping on Lego bricks barefoot.
And it's not me. And it will never be me.
Yeah, never.
Me sitting in this room covered? Okay. Me sitting in this room surrounded by probably thousands and thousands of Legos. It will never be me.
Yeah, no. Lego hurts too much.
Yeah. I don't like stepping on things.
Also that. I feel like that one wasn't very discussion worthy. It's just kind of like I threw some words at you and then it's just like we could get to sit here and stare at each other and be like, that's weird.
Be like, people actually do that and I don't like it. Mine might lead to a discussion, or maybe you'll just agree with me.
Okay.
Most people know so little that if they were transported 200 years into the past, they wouldn't be able to invent anything any quicker.
See, I totally agree with that. Because, like, I don't know, if I got transported 200 years back in time, I couldn't create cell phones.
Yeah.
Or, like, light bulbs or any kind of technology. I couldn't do it.
I probably wouldn't even be able to read a map.
Yeah. Or use a compass or do, like, basic things that people could do 200 years ago, let alone create technology that we have now.
Right, like 1821, I couldn't do shit. I couldn't do shit. But that's what I was talking about earlier when I said my shower thought kind of goes with that.
Oh, about, like, having knowledge about things. And also, like, this is getting more technical about things. People from our generation, we don't have a reason to remember things. We don't have a reason to retain knowledge because we have all of the knowledge we could ever want, like, essentially at our fingertips.
You can just Google it, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's the same thing about how when you were in school, how they always said, oh, well, you're not going to have a calculator with you all the time. Yeah, I am.
Yeah. It's like, people now don't need to know how to do basic math. They don't need to know all of these facts about things.
Should they know it? Yes. Do they know it? No.
Yeah. And on that note, are you ready to take us out?
Before I do that, though, I do just want to say Thank you guys for being so patient with us. Well, we did take 2 weeks off. My teeth were killing me. They're still killing me, but I'm gonna push through it for you guys. I'm gonna do my best. So, thank you all for your patience.
So towards the end of October, Carrie might not be talking very much.
Yes.
We might just be doing some spooky, fun Halloween stuff.
Yes, we do also want to try to do some really cool Halloween stuff for you. And we also decided in the middle of this episode that we're going to release uncut versions on Patreon. So if you're interested in hearing all of the fun stuff we cut out of every episode, head over to Patreon.
It's mostly just us yelling or laughing or
talking to the dogs or,
yeah.
But if you are interested in hearing that, you can check that out at patreon.com/AMLpod. And then our Instagram is AMLpod. Our Twitter is AMLpodcast. You can search All Marbles Lost Podcast on Facebook or email me at allmarblesLostPod@gmail.com. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.